Looking at my vision board once a week and having that vision board divided up in terms of like, okay, how do I want my personal life and professional life to look? How do I want to be healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually?
This is Gary from Pickleball Travel. Pickleball Travel is your destination for amazing pickleball vacations. Here we have Bryant, Salcedo, Pickleball Bryant for our number 2 Pickleball podcast episode, the second one. Hey, Bryant.
How's it going, Gary? I was like at a crossroads. Like, do I just stop pickleball or do I, continue it? And it was no doubt that I wanted to stay in it because I truly love the game.
Tennis kind of brought you here as a junior in the top 10 in the country. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. It was 16s was my highest. I reached a high of number 4. Whenever you're trying to do something at a high level, be elite or be the best, like all the requirements are the same. They overlap. And it's just like, one of my, I know a lot of folks follow Alex Hormozi these days. And something that always resonates with me is like, may the desire be bigger than the trials and the fears and all the things that, try to get in the way of you continuing to move forward. So I think it's really just having a strong desire, having the hunger, and having a goal set in front. Like if I have a goal, it's more likely that I'll continue to do the necessary steps than if I don't have a goal. The vision board is so important. And looking at my vision board once a week and having that vision board divided up in terms of like, okay, how do I want my personal life and professional life to look? How do I want to be healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually? Like being strong in one of those buckets does not overfill into being healthy in another bucket. So like being strong in all 4 of those components will only give myself a chance to continue to press on to my goals, if that makes sense. So then we could get right into the granular in terms of like day to day, what you have to do. But I think we're not going to even stand a chance. I'm not going to stand a chance, at least if I'm not attending to, my health in all buckets effectively.
We offer the lowest prices and great service. So why not send a text to your group leader talking about Pickleball Travel? So you have a physical vision board that you're looking at in your house?
100%. So the physical part is just it's an image of weights, and it's just a gym. And it's an infrared sauna. So like gym and infrared sauna. My parents got me a tennis racket when I was, I think, like 7 years old, and I would just go to the basement and hit aimlessly in the basement for hours after school. And so I think I just showed that desire like at a young age. And so I was playing baseball at the time, and my parents were like, okay, well maybe let's just get him some tennis lessons. And so exposed him to that. And one thing led to another. It almost bothered him when people would say, oh, he was so lucky, or he was just so talented, or he didn't work hard. Because behind the scenes, no one had any idea the amount of work and endless hours and commitment he put into perfecting his craft. And so if that's coming from Federer, there's no doubt, like the most talented, arguably, guy in the world. It just requires that level of like almost psychological craziness to get to that next level. And so I'm far from that. And every day I try to, with the vision board, I try to remind myself like, okay, how are we moving the needle forward? And then also like, when I went through some hard times in my life about 5 years ago, it's like, okay, I got out of this, with the Lord's help, like whatever time I have left, how do I want to be remembered? What impact do I want to have? And so like the thought of like, okay, our time here is so limited. And so you could argue like, yeah, you need your balance. I get that. But like, I think just to the point of what we're discussing here, and how do you get to that next level? It has to consume you, of course, with balance, but I don't know of another way to do it, to make it happen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Having that intensity, do you think it took away anything from other parts of your life as you were growing up, since you were so engaged, since you were so detailed in your regimen? Do you think you missed out anything?
100%, Gary. Gosh, my family talks about it all the time. They're like, you were oblivious to life until you graduated from college. And in some ways, like, I still am, but I just know, like, now that I'm in my adult years, like, I mean, you just have to, there's so many things that you have to attend to, but like, I had the tunnel vision to the extreme. And the social life was non-existent growing up. So like in some ways I kind of wish, like, we all have regrets, and I wouldn't change anything because it's who I am, of course. But if you could go back and now how I would like to, father my daughter or any other kids I would have, like, I would encourage them to be like, look, it's so important to have resilience, to have focus, to pursue your goals, but there's so much more to life than just what you're pursuing type of thing. And so like that's something that I wish it was a little bit different, but to answer your question, I was all in on tennis and really nothing else.
One thing that I really appreciate about you is your strong focus on faith. I'm a man of faith too, and it's such an important part of my life and the way that I pursue things, the way I pursue pickleball and everything else. As you mentioned, life is so short. Could you tell us how, obviously with your Instagram and your social media, you mentioned faith. I was watching something on LinkedIn, I think, from you yesterday regarding faith. Could you just talk about how faith is part of your life and your current goals with regard to everything and pickleball?
100%. I appreciate you asking the question. If anything, this fires me up the most, even more than pickleball. How do we want to be remembered? How do I want to be remembered? What's the legacy I kind of want to leave behind? In this life, I've yet to find anything that fulfills me more than an intimate relationship with the Lord. But I'm very, very much open about my story. Kind of like in a nutshell, 5 years ago, my life was swept from under me, flipped upside down. I lost my mother to brutal cancer, became a single father in the same year. During that time, in that season, it was a critical point in that, okay, my faith could either strengthen or it could kind of like fall off a cliff. And I feel like it's those pivotal moments, those inflection points that kind of like make us, and by the grace of God, like it's all I had and it's all I clung to. And it's what helped me have the strength to literally in the days that I struggled to get out of bed to help me put one foot in front of the other. And so like happiness, getting back to feelings, all of that like comes and goes, but that truly fulfillment, lasting peace that like transcends any type of circumstance, I've only been able to have through my faith and prayer and that quiet time. And if I don't have that time, I feel the effects. If I'm not deliberate about how I start and end my day in quiet time with the Lord, then my life's out of order. I'm doing the filming and doing the teaching, and then sometimes I'm doing some, probably just 2 to 3 hours a week. I'm doing with some specific clients. I'm doing on-court teaching, and then I'm doing virtual too, because the virtual type setting works with my schedule. How can I help you get there? And there's really more with the beginner and amateurs. Get some film, some footage. I'll review the footage, and then we'll get on the line. And hey, here are some things that you can instantly have an impact. Here are some things to work on, and then let's check back in, a month from now.
How would people find you for your virtual instruction?
Pickleball Bryant, Instagram. Right now, that's I just repurposed. I've recently started repurposing, on the other platforms, so I'm there as well. My YouTube, I'm going to start in 2025. I'm going to do my best to stay consistent with doing, 1 or 2 long form videos.
It sounds like you're putting a lot of focus on the next level, right? Beyond just the lessons and the way you might hit a pickleball, but you're talking more about really self-improvement, kind of going inside, finding your purpose. Am I right?
Without a doubt. I have a wonderful family. Plus, I had some very close mentors, some guys specifically from church who spoke wisdom into me and never really necessarily said, of course, they encouraged me. We always need that in those tough times. But they also spoke wisdom into me, and hard wisdom, and things that I maybe necessarily didn't want to hear. And I'm eternally grateful for that. And so, I want to, in some way, shape, or form, put that all together. And I know that, we're all, whether we realize it or not, fighting a battle of some sort. And I want to bring light to those who maybe don't have access to some hope or some encouragement or a way forward.
How would you know that you're effective in making that difference, in conveying that feeling? How would you know that?
I may go to you, my friend. I don't know. And I'm sure, with your experience and your background, I have confidence, I could go to friends like you for that insight, for that help. But I think in terms of just what comes to mind, I think really just getting some feedback. Pickleball will be the main priority. Padel is more of a long-term perspective focus because it's barely anything in the U.S. It's it's in a few cities: Miami, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago. I've heard here in Austin now. So if I could get out, a couple videos a week, super short form on Padel.
We've talked about different collaboration ideas, with maybe travel to Austin maybe having small groups, be there when you're coaching them, different things. It's difficult for you to leave the country, to a place like Jamaica, like we did last month, or to other
Sounds
places.
amazing.
But yeah, I'm curious if you have, since I talked to you last, if you have any collaboration possibilities that you can think of with travel, with pickleball groups, with coaching.
How can we make it come to life? And really, that's where I'm thankful to kind of just know you now and have that to potentially work together and collaborate with that. Because what you're doing, I affirm you, Gary. Like it is, it's great. And I mean, just seeing, high level what you did just recently with Mark, that's so cool. With planning in advance could make something happen, of course. And so like that's something that, look forward to continuing to try to make happen.
If you could go anywhere in the world to play pickleball, where would you go?
So many places. I would say like Italy would be beautiful.
We're in Italy.
What's that one, like I've never been, and I know it's on my bucket list, but like it's a very touristy spot, like cliffs.
Italy is such a terrific place for pickleball.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, they have more places in the cities, whether it be Rome or near Venice. There's a place in Treviso, outside of Treviso. There's Padua, there's Brescia, there's Milan. I just talked to a good friend of mine in Scotland who played in the Milan tournament, and they had really nice courts, actually. So, and even in the mountains in northwest Italy, they have good pickleball courts. I'm trying to remember what that place is called, but Italy is it's probably my favorite place overall.
I'd love to. Amalfi Coast was what I was thinking.
Amalfi Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Same.
It's obviously a place I'd like to go to, but I only go to places that have pickleball. So
I know.
I don't know any pickleball that's there.
Gary, you have such a cool thing, and however I can help you as you continue to put in the work and build pickleball travel, like, again, I affirm you, can't say it enough, like what you're doing, and especially in a space where pickleball, I think, is still so early, probably not even the second, third inning. However I can help you, like, I'm your biggest fan. So,
oh man, it would be a privilege to work with you in any capacity. I mean, obviously, if you found time to be able to go to some of these places at some point,
we can maybe get creative. Like, because I don't want like, a 5-day something to be like a showstopper in any way. But like, I look forward to chatting. Like if it's something where it's like, a 1-2 day type of thing where it's just like kind of, if there's something that can be worked out like that, like to get creative, or something, of course, like where it's like with your crew and your folks, like it's not the same, but like better than nothing. If something like remotely or virtual, put it this, what I'm trying to say, like I'm willing, like get creative and how we could.
Yeah. Let's keep talking, and
yeah,
we'll come up with something, because the assets that you have with the way that you coach, with the way that you're able to speak with people, the way you present yourself, that would be attractive, obviously, to so many people around the world. So yeah, let's keep talking, and if the viewers have some ideas as well on how we can work together, it's just like with Mark Price, we have his skill set and my skill set. It works out. It works out terrific. So Pickleball Bryant, it's such a pleasure. I don't know if you have any closing words.
No, just thank you, truly. It's been a true pleasure getting to know you, and I know it's hopefully just the beginning of a friendship and ways that we'll continue to collaborate and work together. And it's always more special connecting with folks that you share very similar values with. I feel like that connection is stronger. So just super thankful for your time and what you're doing in the pickleball space. Continue to go and continue to have fun. If it's not fun, why are we doing this? So like that's one of the many things I think is what makes pickleball so beautiful. Is it's fun, it's the community, all the things that we know, but like just provides so many benefits, mental, physical, you name it.
Well said.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, Gary.